Hey guys, this is ZeldaMaster93 back again, and I have not done any video for quite a while, and I apologize for that to all my subscribers and friends, but I am back again, this time for quite a biggie. I have been looking forward to doing this video for quite a while, and that is because I am now going to review the second half of the seventh movie of the Harry Potter series, the Deathly Hallows. I just saw it a few days ago, and I've been thinking and thinking over this for almost an entire period because, well, to be honest, what I'm going to be saying for the next 10 minutes or so, or 15 minutes, whatever it's going to be, will annoy and probably piss off quite a few people, to put it quite bluntly. Because I have to admit that the movie let me down. Truly. Well, okay, let's start with the good points. The good points being the special effects, as usual, were really, really good. It's always been that case. You can't debate that the special effects were bad. You just can't. So I'll just leave it at that. Also, they hit upon every major point in the book. Every huge plot point they hit, and they did that in the movie, as they should. But that is not the case with all of the smaller points. And the smaller points, really, they can make or break a movie, really. I mean, if they fail too many of those smaller points, those fine details, it can seriously screw the movie over. And that's kind of what I thought here, because to the untrained eye, to the person that has not read the books up until this point, which I'm not one of, I have read every single book multiple times and watched the movies, criticizing them and yelling at the screen when it didn't do what happened in the book. I know that there was plenty of things in the movie that should not have been there, should have been changed, should have been left out. So I'll start getting into that. That'll encompass pretty much the entire rest of this video. So let's get cracking, shall we? First of all, there was the point in the movie where it took a dip for me. And that was when Harry, Hermione, and Ron stepped into the castle. Because at that point, in the book, Harry left off and snuck around the castle, and it was in the middle of the night, of course, and snuck around the castle trying to find Ravenclaw's diadem. This is a much, much better plan than what he did in the movie. In the movie, he just walked right into the room where Snape, the supposed, head evil guy of the entire castle, was, and he just barged in there and started yelling at him. Like a freaking idiot. I mean, that just does not make any sense at all. By any way. Ugh! And it's just, in the book, he did the smart thing. He snuck around, because he knew that if he just barged in there, he'd get overpowered, kidnapped, captured, and probably shoved off onto Voldemort and killed in about 2 seconds. So, thus, he did the smart thing. He did the logical thing by trying not to cause a ruckus. But, this is my theory, Hollywood didn't like that. They didn't like that it was quiet, that it was not dramatic enough. So they decided to essentially rewrite history and compose a more dramatic and action-y part of the that movie. So what did they do? They just had him barge right in. Doesn't make any sense. Does not follow the book. But who cares? It's dramatic. It's action. I care. And I'm sure many other people who have read the books did notice that, and as I did, started feeling that the movie was starting to let them down. Now, some of the other things that kind of started to let me down was some of the things in the battle between the Hogwarts students and the Order of the Phoenix and Voldemort's army. Well, it's just some of the things in the battle really did not line up with the book at all. Such as Harry's departure from the castle to go to the middle of the woods so he can sacrifice himself and be the hero and all that. In the book, he kind of just left unexpectedly, and I feel that in the movie they botched that seriously. I feel that it was a lot more tearful in the book. It was a lot more heartwarming. It was a lot more just gut-wrenching and heart-wrenching. And you really started to feel for him a lot more in the book than in the movie. There was also the fact that they botched a lot of the small details. And yes, I know they're small, but small things can pile up really, really hugely and really quickly. And I feel as if that's what they did here. Because, you know, there were a lot of small details that they screwed up. And I know not to expect perfection from these movies, but they botched so many of the small points that it's hard to ignore this huge pile of little details that that it would be so much easier if they just followed the book and did what they were supposed to do. But they didn't. Why? Because they're idiots. Among this group of small details is like this smaller group of funny moments in the book that lightened the atmosphere of the book. The book is like the darkest of all 7, truly. And these funnier moments in the book really helped lighten the mood. They made you laugh, even if people were dying and crap things were happening. It didn't really matter because for that one small split second, you were laughing at this little joke that someone made. One of the examples is right before Harry and Ron and Hermione get into the castle when they encounter Dumbledore's brother, Aberforth. In the book, he started yelling at the Death Eaters and calling them idiots, and it really made me laugh. You know, every time I read the book, I was like, and I was really actually looking forward to that part in the movie, and it never showed up. I mean, they encountered Aberforth and they got into his tavern and talked with him and blah, blah, blah. Some information was revealed and also whatnot. But that little spark of humor was not there in the least. And I feel as if the movie let me down in that. Because they wanted big, dramatic, action-y, you know, doom and ominous feelings. And it's just, no. They should have gone with more humor. They should have gone with what J.K. Rowling wrote. Seriously. If J.K. Rowling wanted something or such and such to happen, then she would have written it that way. Okay? And yet, the producers and the director and the writers, they decided to go off on their own little tangent and screw with something that was good. The book was good. It was not the best of the series, I admit, but it was pretty good. And if they just followed what was laid before them, they would have been fine. They would have been golden, but they had to screw with it. And thus, I feel as if the movie was not done the justice that it could have been. Okay? They had a good plan, and it was going well, but then about a quarter or maybe a third of the way through the movie, I just started to get a little ticked off. And I started to resent the movie. So that by the end of the film, I just wanted it to be over. Truly. Now, I'm probably going to get a lot of hate comments and a lot of thumbs down on this video, but I don't really care, okay? I have to voice my opinion in what I think is a very important matter, because I love reading. It's one of my pastimes, it's one of my favorite hobbies, and I read a huge amount of the day, every day. And I like it when my favorite books get turned into movies. It's a very joyful experience for me because I finally get to see what I've been seeing in my head for the past however many years, and I get to actually see it with my eyes on a big screen and hear it with my ears. And when Hollywood lets me down and screws me over, I get pissed when one of my favorite books gets botched and gets tortured. And I guess maybe every time I see a movie and that gets botched, that was made from a book, I feel like I've been transported back in time to when I first saw the movie Eragon. I read that book, and it was one of my favorites, and I watched that movie, and it was one of the worst movies I have ever seen before in my life, if not the worst, because it was terrible, despicable, horrible, not even worth to be used as toilet paper or just watch it burn for enjoyment's sake, okay? And I guess maybe it was at that point that I lost faith in book movies, but nonetheless, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 is a good movie by itself, but if you have read the books and you know what happens in the books, be prepared to get a little disappointed. If your hopes and your expectations were, I guess, possibly impossibly high, as mine were, then be prepared to be disappointed greatly. I will still probably get the movie, but it won't be in my top, like, 3 or 4. So, I don't know. Those are my feelings, and if you do not like them, or if you disagree with them, or even if you agree with them, please tell me in the comments, because I truly value your opinion in this, on this subject, because I want to know what other people thought of the movie. Other people that read the books. And I want to know if I'm truly nuts. Truly mad in my head to think that maybe they dropped the ball on this one. Admittedly, it's not as bad as Nudge, the third one, but nonetheless, tell me in the comments. Subscribe to me if you, by some odd twist of fate, actually agree with me. But rate, comment, subscribe, and this is Zelda Master 93, and I'm going to be saying, see you guys later.